Is this really a folding bushcraft knife? Stick around because I'm going to show it to you right now. Hey guys, how are you? I'm Jay, and are you still searching for your grail knife? Well, click on subscribe and I'll help you find it. First, let's go ahead and start out with the specs. You guys should be looking at them right now. Pause and read. Now let's get these size comparisons out of the way. Start out with the Spyderco Para 2. This is a knife that I don't bring out very often. The ZT 0350. And let's do Cold Steel, Code 4, and one more size comparison. This is going to be the opposite end of the spectrum, the Kaiser Dukes Vanguard version. Now this is the ESEE Medellin, which is also the name of the second largest city in Colombia, and designed after ESEE's very popular fixed blades, the ESEE 3. This is the 5, which is quite a bit larger than the 3, as you can see, but I have it here just so you can see the crossover of the design and the design elements that they do share. Specifically in the blade. Well, first I just want to go ahead and get this out of the way, guys. I don't like this knife, and I will tell you why right now. First, the Medellin feels kind of cheap. It really does. The frame lock is not the easiest to operate. The jimping on the spine of the blade is way too far forward. Considering there is no finger choil, it feels like my thumb is kind of stretching out a little too far just to reach that jimping. The action, as you can see, is just okay. I mean, this knife really does rely on proper lubrication to maintain, well, see, that adequate action. And, you know, when you have a bunch of lubrication in here, that's just gonna attract dirt, and this is really meant to be an outdoors type of knife. There is no sharpening choil at all, which I thought was kind of weird. If you guys can see that. Yeah, it just kind of ends at a weird spot. There is no over travel stop for the frame lock when this clip is in the tip down configuration. Now, if, like most of us, if you have the clip in the tip up configuration, well, the clip can also serve as the over travel stop at the same time for the frame lock. Now, the thickness of this blade is about 2.85 millimeters, and you know what? It's kind of thin, and especially when you consider, guys, the Kaiser Dukes, 2.75 millimeters thick. I mean, this is a gentleman's, you know, kind of slash office carry. This is just a little bit thicker than the Dukes. And the steel on the Medellin is AUS 8, which, to be fair, I mean, I knew that going into this when I ordered it, but $50 for AUS 8 and an FRN handle scale, yeah, that's not even G10. Nope. Plastic. I mean, you can get a Bestech knife with D2 blade steel. What you could get that for about what, 40 to 50 bucks, and that has G10 D2 steel. This is AUS 8 with fiberglass reinforced nylon. Now, everything about this knife, it isn't all bad. There are a few good things. However, those good things are pretty much mainly aesthetics. I mean, I really like the blade and the handle shape. I mean, it's just a, just a classic drop point. I love that. This actually kind of looks like it could have been designed by Ken Onion. What do you guys think? Does this look like a Ken Onion knife? I don't know, let me know in the comments section down below, guys. There are no sharp edges anywhere on the handle, so that's good. Everything seems to be rounded or chamfered nicely. I do like the handle thickness of 0.37 inches. That's pretty darn thin, especially when you consider this, guys. The Cold Steel Code 4. Now, one of the big complaints about this knife was how thin the handle is, 0.35, and of course the lack of traction. But yeah, 0.35 is the thickness on the Code 4. 0.37 on this guy. I do like the black hardware. I think that looks really sharp. And the thumb studs, if you guys notice, they are completely out of the cutting path. So that's a nice little attention to detail. Now, the frame locks with thumb stud deployment, they usually don't work well for lefties like myself, because normally what happens is, for a lefty, you find yourself kind of pressing on the frame lock as you're trying to push on the thumb stud, and it usually does not work out too well for us. But with the Medellin, no trouble as far as that's concerned. So I really like the thumb stud location because it's not too close to the frame lock. Now, this knife is made by a company that is known for its bushcraft and, survival knives, but the specs on this knife are that of a gentleman's folder. You're really just not getting much for $50. I think you can do a lot better, like with the Bestech knives that I mentioned a little bit ago. D2 steel, G10 handle scales. What I almost forgot to mention, guys, was the weight, because that is one other area that I like about this knife. Let's see. That's not bad for a 3.5-inch blade. 4.3 ounces. That is going to be roughly the equivalent of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like 5 AA batteries, or now I'm just curious to throw the Cold Steel Code 4 on there. Wow. Almost, yeah, exactly the same weight. I'm pretty close in size too, except the Code 4 is just a little bit longer. And at $65 for CTS XHP, a much more value here with the Code 4 than with the Medellin. Now don't forget, guys, to click on that subscribe button for knife reviews and modifications that get right to the point. And I have already reviewed the Code 4 by Cold Steel. So if you click up here where the knives are pointing, you can watch the Code 4 review or the review for that Bestech knife with D2 steel that I keep crowing about. Click up there to watch that video as well.